Hi, guys, and welcome to Taylor Talk. I really needed to get this out. Guys, have you noticed that every time Anne Boleyn says or does something extremely shady, repulsive, or problematic, that afterwards, 9 times out of 10, she always fakes a health scare, a health issue, or some kind of injury to get out of taking any type of accountability or backlash. Example 1, blaming Becky for her cancer. On Instagram, Anne Boleyn. Do you remember when she wrote a lengthy novel on her Instagram saying that it was Becky's fault that she didn't get cancer treatment sooner and that her precious wifey would never, ever let her suffer for so many years? Then came the inevitable girl world backlash. So, what happened straight after that backlash, guys? Then came that my foot is dangling and I heard a crunch, and this is bigger than JFK's assassination, the mighty Wumble, the fall of the century.
And half of my foot did not reach the sidewalk. And I ended up falling. The fucking noise that my ankle made. I don't think I'll ever forget that noise. And I was by myself. I just felt so scared. I looked down at the ankle that made that noise and my foot was just like dangling. So I was able to limp my way back into the apartment and I was just terrified.
I don't know, I just feel so disconnected.
Like, I remember that moment so well. I ended up going to the emergency room. The pain literally just got worse and worse and worse. Did the x-rays, did this and that, and they could not find anything broken, but I have multiple torn ligaments. They were gonna...
Then, because of how we all know how our girl likes a pity party as long as it's served with orange chicken, we have more videos on that nighttime fall than episodes of CSI. Incident number 2, the Code Red Destiny Cook incident. Now, judging by the way that Amber treated Becky, we all assumed that out of all her girlfriends, Destiny was the solid favourite. Destiny Cook was the love of her life, the one that got away. And we just assumed that their relationship was a rom com from start to finish. Like a When Sally Met Sally, or My Big Fat Kentucky Wedding, or Bride and Fatphobic Prejudice. We all thought that Amber and Destiny were literally destiny, that they were meant to be. Until Destiny, a month ago, fired up a heartbreaking live detailing how agonizing her life was living with Amber, who turned out to be a manipulative, hysterical control freak.
I don't know what we were arguing about, but then I think either my mom or my mammy called me about going over there because my mammy was going to my mom's and she was like, hey, we're going to cook. You guys should come over. And I was like, heck yeah. You know, like I was ready to go. I hadn't seen my mom in a little while. I was ready to go over there. Well, Amber Lynn didn't want to go. And I said, that's fine. You don't have to go. But she didn't want me to go. And I was like, okay, well, it's been a little while since I've been over there. And she was just like throwing a big just fit. I don't know how else to describe it. She was crying. And I know it was a Code Red Mountain Dew in my hand. She will swear to you that this didn't happen. I've talked to her about it before and she swears it didn't happen. So I don't know why she thinks that, but why would I make this up? I would try to walk out of the house. I know I have this Code Red Mountain Dew in my hand and I'm just like, I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go. So, and because we were already arguing, I was like, I don't want to be around you anyway right now. Like we were arguing. I wanted to go see my mom. She starts screaming at me from the sliding glass doorway saying that she's gonna harm herself if I leave and I don't know, just all this stuff, you know, just going nuts. Then I was like, no, you won't. You know, I said, that's not something to play around with. Just let me go see my mom. And she starts like coming at me, you know, like, ooh, ooh, ooh. So I get in my car and I leave the can on my top of my car and I close the door real quick and I lock the door and she's like telling me to get out, all this stuff. And she ends up throwing the can at my car, made me mad. And I want to say I ended up not going. I don't think I did. I'm like 98% sure I did not go to my mom's. I ended up just going back inside and dealing with her.
And guess what happened, guys? After Amber got outed as a manipulative, physically aggressive control freak, guess what happened? Amber disappeared And a few days later, she came back with a video titled, I Almost Died. Allegedly.
So I was watching the show, and all of a sudden, it felt like someone literally took my invisible oxygen cord of life and completely cut it off. They just took it, cut it. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't talk. I was choking on a very big piece of potato that I literally didn't chew. And I know for a lot of people, this is probably humorous. There's probably going to be memes, drawings about it. It gets worse. In my lifetime, I can safely say that I have swallowed down the wrong pipe. I have, choked while eating in the sense of like, those types of things. That's not choking. That's not choking. What I went through that day was choking, and Feline saved my life. I couldn't.
Now, it's the worst kept secret. Amber Lynn openly loves seafood boil. She eats it all the time. But isn't it convenient that when Amber is called out for deplorable behaviour against Destiny, she suddenly chokes on a meal on one of the softest vegetables on her plate? A meal that she has every other day. But on the other tattooed hand, isn't it great that Wifey finally stopped watching Amber eating? Wifey finally took her hand out of her boxer shorts and put it to good use, patting her perfect pillow princess on the back and therefore saving her life. What an amazing sexy feeder stud in shining armor she is. Incident 3. Amber trashing Destiny's innocent family members on the phone on a recent live. Now, ladies and gents, I'm not going to put the clip in because I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to review most of the video on a reaction channel and make a reaction video by itself. I haven't watched it deliberately because I want to have a fresh reaction to the reaction. But I have checked out the comments, and judging from the comments, Amber trashed Destiny's father and kind of outed Destiny's brother for using substances. And before I watch it, I'm going to say this. Amber, before you start talking about Destiny's father, you may want to check on how your own father is. Seriously, maybe after your next Amazon delivery, maybe you could call him sometime. I think he'd like that, and that's not even a dig. Genuinely try to keep in touch with him. Next, Amber, aren't you the last person that should shame somebody for any addiction? You literally came on this platform and introduced your parents as addicts that couldn't care for you properly. So much so that social services had to come in and take you away from them and put you in foster care and then suitable housing. Also, I've got to mention that you've been a proud food addict for the past 20 odd years. Can't you have some sympathy and leave an innocent person out of this? Now, if Destiny and Amber, way back when they were together, had a random argument about their car, and Destiny had suddenly brought up Amber being in care, pulled that out of the sky, Amber would probably start yelling and cussing because that crosses a line. And they both know that, both women know that. A lot of people, including both Amber and Destiny, are both protective and touchy over their families. They've both been through a lot of traumatic experiences and both love their families. So why would Amber be so cruel to talk about Destiny's father and her brother that way? So obviously, Amber got backlash. And now today, like clockwork, Look at the thumbnail that we have here. Now, obviously, people realize why she suddenly come up with that new clickbaity title. Everyone recognizes the pattern. Amber acts horrible, posts makes a call, posts something on her Instagram, or acts horrible on a live. Girl World will call her out. And then comes some heroic story of escaping death's clutches, even with the wrong shoes on. The problem is, Amber is her own biggest fan. Amber Lynn is her own biggest baby. She thinks that everything she says and everything she does is right, and that she's such a good person, an angel, in fact, that she can't be challenged on anything. Amber presents herself on camera as a quirky, outgoing, happy go lucky girl in love. When that facade slips and she gets exposed as a bully, health issues are her PR solution. It also provokes sympathy, as she knows that the girl world fury will die down if she says that she's got a health problem right at that second. Amber, along with Foodie, they both get a real kick out of exploiting their health issues for content. Amber exploits her health issues more than she takes care of her issues. And the problem is, Wifey is completely happy to let her do it. It also occurs to me that Amber doesn't go out much. We all know that her friends are always her girlfriend's friendship group. And Wifey isn't going to let her go near them. So the only real friend that she has currently is Wifey. Amber's probably not that confident because of her weight, and there are rumours that Amber mostly goes out shopping at night so that she can avoid people. When she allegedly fell, the fall of the century, the fall that shook the world, as you can see, that was at night too. Now, if Amber doesn't meet people during the day, or go out much during the day, okay. Now, if Amber doesn't meet people during the day or go out much during the day, she's less likely to feel shocked eyes burn into her body from every angle or hear rude comments and jokes from people. And I think living that type of hermit existence has emboldened her as well. It's made her more confident. If she's always around Wifey, and Wifey's her own personal fan club, and Amber she doesn't go out into the real world with people that she can't control. Amber's going to walk around in her own world, in her own real life cocoon, treating people like dirt. Example, Becky, because her accountability and criticism only comes from a computer screen and not real life. My advice to Amber is to stop being a brat. Grow up. And Amber, stop faking, or at the very least, stop exaggerating health issues every time you get caught revealing your true self. Try to look in the mirror. Try to take accountability for the things that you do or say. Maybe you could get wifey to write you up an apology speech, do an apology tour, or better yet, you could always try apologizing yourself from the heart. Maybe if you did that, took accountability and took responsibility for the hurtful things that you do, if you apologize and sound sincere, maybe you'd come across as more likable. And maybe In a perfect world, maybe you could get a pathetic facts level of views. Okay guys, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.